Hello everyone. Today is 3rd of October. Now it's 5:30 in the afternoon Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is new episode of Headlines. Short summary of the news that I will talk about in a little more detail. In today's second update that will be published on my Patreon and Boosty pages, and if you are interested in more news from Russia, you are more than welcome to join our community on these platforms. Links are on this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. And dear friends, you can see Cathedral of the Christ the Savior, one of the biggest Orthodox cathedrals in the world. And this is, of course, central part of Moscow. And right now, I'm crossing relatively recently opened, if I'm not mistaken, after some renovation, pedestrian bridge on the Moscow River. And let me show you the view that you will recognize straight away, of course. And also, let me show you other side. So there is a monument of Peter the Great on the bank of Moscow River. So, and many other historical buildings, of course. Tretyakovka Gallery and some others. But anyways, let's talk about news, or headlines rather. And there are quite a few very important developments and news that Russian media reported about since the beginning of this day, since my first update, basically. And let's go through some of it. And first of all, report from RIA Novosti, which is based on Defense Ministry's information that during the nighttime, Russian air defense systems shut down and suppressed 113 drones of the Kiev regime that was launched for strikes deep inside the Russian territory. Obviously, flight path targeting data was provided for these drones by NATO member states. First of all, the US. Also, we have a report that from Kommersant newspaper that according to article in Forbes, Kiev regime sent their last reserves of its best Western military equipment into Kursk region during their invasion, including Leopard 2 A6 tanks that was provided by NATO member states to the regime. Also, Swedish STRV 122, which is based on Leopard 2 tanks. We all know that Challenger 2 was also destroyed in the Kursk region. Abrams tanks, you name it. Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, German Marder infantry fighting vehicles, Swedish SV-90 infantry fighting vehicles. Yes, as it was said previously many times, Kiev regime basically sacrificed a significant number of its strategical reserves in this suicidal operation to invade the Kursk region of the Russian Federation. And according to Defense Ministry, Kiev regime already lost during this operation, I believe, about 18 or 19,000 military personnel killed and wounded, and up to 2,000, if not more, different type of vehicles, military vehicles, including of course tanks that I just mentioned. Also, headline from Vzglyad newspaper that recent statements of Zelensky that Kiev regime has now long-range, domestically built long-range missiles are nothing else but cover-up for the West, so that long-range missiles will be used by West, but designated as domestically built in Ukraine. Maybe Western elites have such plans, but I don't think anybody gonna buy this, because obviously it's gonna be easily distinguishable when these missiles will be launched. They were built in Kiev-controlled territory or not. After all, since the collapse of Soviet Union, EU regime did not really create any new weapon system, successful new weapon system, despite the obvious fact that after collapse of Soviet Union, in this former Soviet Republic, there was a huge military-industrial complex left, but it was basically almost entirely destroyed and robbed by different regimes in Ukraine since Soviet Union. Also, headline from Kommersant newspaper that IDF killed, according to statement from IDF, they killed head of government in Gaza. I mean, Israel, IDF is, or Netanyahu's government is killing just about everybody with whom they supposed to negotiate some peace settlement. So I don't know. I did not see any confirmation of this news from Palestinian side, but Israel claims that they killed head of local government in Gaza. Also, we have a report from RIA Novosti that Hezbollah says it has stopped Israeli military breakthrough attempt on a borderline with, between Israel and Lebanon. Also, about 30 Israeli soldiers were injured in the clashes with Hezbollah, according to media reports. This is another headline from RIA Novosti. Also, Iran does not rule out sending troops to Lebanon and the Golan Heights. This is today's reporter. Information is based on statements of high-ranking military commander of the IRGC, Moshe Rafik Dust. So we might see next level of escalation in upcoming days, not just from Israeli side, but also possibly from Tehran, if Iran really sends ground troops. Of course, all the details, dear friends, about every single news that I'm talking about in headlines. More details in a second update. Also, we have a report that Russian ambassador advises Russians to consider leaving Israel. And emergency ministry plane, Russia's emergency ministry plane evacuated 60 citizens of Russia from Beirut. Also today's report, Israel tells US it sees no need for immediate retaliatory strike on Iran. That's quite interesting. That's quite interesting headline and the news. Also, Russia to expand diplomatic presence in Africa. Interesting. Most likely, Russian embassies will be open in Niger, Sierra Leone, and South Sudan. Another headline: U.S. national debt increases by almost 350 billion in just 2 days, which is crazy, isn't it? In just 2 days, U.S. national debt increased for 350 billion. This is more than our entire Russian debt, if I'm not mistaken. Unbelievable. All the details in second update, dear friends. Another headline from TASS news agency that in Russia, public sector salaries may increase by 13% in 2025, which is definitely good news, especially for citizens of Russia that are working in a public sector. And the final headline, if I'm not mistaken, is that is that Speaker of Georgian Parliament signed the law banning LGBTQ propaganda in Georgia. So, and this news, of course, will be used by Western ruling class as yet another reason to further escalate with Georgia. And when it comes to this former Soviet republic, as I said many times before, they should be, and most likely there will be elections, parliamentary elections on 26th of October, in a couple of weeks' time. And I'm afraid Western secret services, especially US secret services, will use all their assets in Georgia to destabilize the republic and conduct some regime change, and then simply sacrifice Georgia, citizens of Georgia, for geopolitical agenda of the West by transforming it into some sort of second front against Russia. So I hope Georgian society will stay strong, Georgian government will take all the necessary precautionary measures not to allow any disturbances, regime changes and that kind of stuff, and will save country, because that's what is on the stake when it comes to Georgia. So this is it, dear friends. Relatively short video. Hopefully you will find this episode interesting, informative, useful, and if so, please click that like button, leave some commentary just about anything. And if you can, please share information about my channel with your friends on any platform that you are actively using, or in real life. And finally, if you like my work, if you want to support my work and my channels, please consider, I mean, you can do it basically through donation or by subscribing to my Patreon page. All the links under this video in the description box and in the pinned comment. This is it for now. Have a great day and take care.